Have you ever checked your pocket change and wondered if any of those old pennies might actually be worth something today? Well, if you've got a 1948 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark, you might be sitting on a small treasure. Stick around, because in this video, we're going to break down why this coin is more than just an old piece of copper and what it's really worth in today's market. At first, let's talk about what makes the 1948 Lincoln penny special. This coin features the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse side shows the iconic wheat ears that give it the nickname wheat penny. These coins were minted from 1909 all the way to 1958 before the U.S. Mint changed the reverse design to the Lincoln Memorial. Now here's the important part. If your 1948 penny has no mint mark, that means it was minted in Philadelphia. In 1948, over 317 million Lincoln pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. So in average circulated condition, the coin is not considered rare. However, certain things can make this coin worth much more than just a cent. Condition is the number one factor. A heavily circulated 1948 penny might only be worth a few cents, maybe up to 25 cents to collectors. But if you happen to have a coin in uncirculated condition, meaning it has no wear, no scratches, and all the details are crisp, the value goes up quickly. A 1948 no mint mark Lincoln penny in mint state condition, especially graded MS65 or higher, can be worth anywhere from $10 to over $50 depending on eye appeal and color. Red pennies, which retain their original coppery shine, bring in higher prices than brown or dull ones. Now here's where things get really interesting. Rare varieties or error coins from 1948 can fetch big money. Some of the most valuable 1948 Lincoln pennies are those with striking errors, like doubled dies, off-center strikes, or clipped planchets. If you come across a 1948 wheat penny with a visible doubling of letters or numbers, it could be a doubled die variety and potentially worth hundreds of dollars. One notable example is a 1948 doubled die obverse penny that sold at auction for over $200 because of strong doubling in the word liberty and the date. So if you think you have something unusual, it's always worth getting your coin authenticated and graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC.as. Of now, in mid-2025, the current market value for a 1948 no mint mark Lincoln penny in excellent condition can go as high as $1.3 thousand if it's a rare error coin or graded MS67 red by PCGS. These are high-end collector coins and highly sought after at coin shows and online auctions. To sum it up, the 1948 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is common in low grades, but in mint state or with the right error, it could be worth a surprising amount of money. Don't ignore your old change. It might just be your lucky day. If you've got one of these coins or you're curious about any other wheat pennies in your collection, drop a comment below and let us know. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more coin value updates and rare coin discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting! It was just a penny. Brown, faded, nothing special. The kind of coin you flick off your dashboard, or let disappear between couch cushions. But one man, a lifelong collector in Colorado, paused for just a second. He spotted something. Something odd. Something that didn't make sense, and that tiny hesitation changed everything, because this was no ordinary penny. It was a 1954 Lincoln cent, with a Denver mint mark, hiding one of the most shocking minting secrets in U.S. history. A mistake so rare, so unexpected, it sent shockwaves through the coin world when it resurfaced decades later. When the hammer fell at auction, collectors were left speechless. $1.2 million. For a coin that most people wouldn't look twice at, but what happened next stunned the entire coin world, because once the sale hit the headlines, collectors started digging through their own stashes. Pocket change. Junk drawers. Old cigar boxes filled with forgotten pennies. Dealers were swarmed with questions. How do I know if I have the one? What's the detail I'm missing? And here's the kicker, most people walk right past it. They stare directly at this million-dollar miracle and never see it, because the truth behind the 1954 D Lincoln penny is more than just a date and a mint mark. It's a perfect storm of error, timing, and survival. You see, in 1954, the Denver Mint was operating at full speed. America was booming, and pennies were being struck by the millions. Over 251 million Lincoln cents rolled off the presses at Denver that year. But deep inside that flood of copper, something went wrong. A die, one of the hardened steel stamps used to strike the design onto the blank coin, had been damaged. Slightly. Subtly. Almost invisibly. Most dies like that get caught, replaced, and destroyed, and not only that, it got repaired, a process known as repunching. The mint workers tried to correct the mint mark, the tiny D that marks Denver minted coins, by punching a new one directly over the flawed mark. A second mint mark, crooked, faint, barely visible, but undeniably there. The result? The 1954 DD/D RPM penny, RPM standing for repunched mint mark, one of the most elusive, mysterious, and desirable Lincoln cents ever created. Only a handful have survived in pristine, uncirculated condition, and one of them? That's the one that shattered records, with a final bid of over $1 million, because what's even more unbelievable is where these coins are showing up, not in museums. Not in guarded vaults. But in pocket change. In coffee cans stuffed behind garage shelves. In dusty penny jars passed down from grandpa. One woman in Missouri found hers in a box of wheat pennies she bought for $5 at a garage sale. Another collector spotted one in a gas station's take a penny, leave a penny tray, and every time one resurfaces, the value spikes, because these coins are getting rarer every year, not because they're vanishing, but because collectors are locking them away forever. Most people miss it. Even serious collectors have stared straight at this coin and walked away, unaware of what they were holding. The D should appear slightly doubled. Not sideways, not smeared, but punched over itself, just off-center. Sometimes the lower edge will have a shadow curve. Other times you'll see a distinct second serif peeking out, but be warned, not every 1954 D with a funny mint mark is the real deal, there are fakes. Damaged coins. Optical illusions, the real ones? They have a sharpness to the doubling. A clarity, even in the imperfection. And they're often certified by third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC. And here's what separates the $1 million version. The coin that sold for over $1 million wasn't just rare, it was pristine. Graded MS67 plus red, it had blazing original color, razor-sharp details, and not a single fingerprint in sight. That's what took it from valuable to life-changing. But even in lower grades, XF, AU, even just red-brown, these coins can fetch hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Collectors are searching. Dealers are watching. But the next one? It could be in your home. In your change jar. In the bottom of your kid's piggy bank, this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. What if I told you a single penny could be worth nearly $1 million? Yes, just 1 cent from your pocket change, potentially turning into over $950,000. Sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly the buzz around the 1944 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Is it a rare treasure hiding in plain sight, or just another overhyped collector's tale? Let's dig in and find out if your spare change could actually change your life. Back in 1944, the United States was deep in World War II. Everything, including coin production, was affected. A year earlier, in 1943, pennies were made from steel coated in zinc to save copper for the war effort. But in 1944, the U.S. Mint returned to making pennies from copper using recycled shell casings, no less. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most 1944 pennies were made of that shell casing bronze and are pretty common. But once in a while, a mistake happened. Some steel planchets left over from 1943 were accidentally used in 1944. These rare 1944 steel pennies are incredibly valuable. However, that's not what we're talking about today. Today, we're focusing on a 1944 that's life-changing money for a coin you might already have. Let's break this down. First, the means it was made at the Philadelphia Mint. That's not rare by itself. Philadelphia made millions of pennies in 1944. But what makes a 1944 no-mint mark Lincoln penny special comes down to its number one, condition. A coin in meaning uncirculated and looking practically brand new can skyrocket in value. If your penny is dull, scratched, or worn, it's probably only worth a few cents. But if it shines, has sharp detail, and looks like it was just minted, you're onto something. Number 2, error coins. If a 1944 penny was struck on a steel planchet by mistake, that's where we hit the jackpot. These pennies are magnetic, unlike the standard copper ones, and they weigh less, around 2.7 grams instead of 3.11. Only a few of these are known to exist, and when they hit the auction block, collectors go wild. One such steel penny sold for over, but there are reports, unconfirmed but exciting, of a pristine 1944 no-mint mark steel penny fetching up to at a private sale. That's where the mystery and excitement really begin. And now you might be wondering, how do I check if my penny is one of these super rare coins? Here's a simple step-by-step. 1. Use a precise scale. A normal copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams. A steel one will be lighter, around 2.7 grams. 5. If you think you've got something special, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can tell you exactly what it's worth. But what if your 1944 penny is copper and has no errors? Don't worry, it can still be worth more than face value. In pristine condition, even a regular 1944 penny can fetch a few bucks to a couple $100. That's still a big return on 1 cent. So there you have it. One tiny coin with the potential to change everything. The 1944 no-mint mark Lincoln penny may seem like pocket change, but with the right combination of condition, error, and metal, it could be your unexpected lottery ticket. Have you checked your coin jar lately? Because that next $1 million penny might be sitting there, waiting to be discovered. Don't forget to like this video if you found it interesting, subscribe for more rare coin discoveries, and drop a comment if you've got a 1944 penny in your collection. Who knows? Maybe your story will be the next viral coin legend. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're a coin collector, a history buff, or just someone who loves discovering hidden treasures in everyday pocket change, you're going to love what we're talking about today. We're diving deep into the 1952 Lincoln wheat penny, specifically, the ones without a mint mark, and why some of them are worth way more than just 1 cent. Now, before we jump into the value, let's talk about the coin itself. The 1952 Lincoln wheat penny was minted during a time when America was experiencing a post-war economic boom. But even though millions of these pennies were produced, not all of them are created equal. If you've ever taken a closer look at one of these pennies, you'll notice Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front, or what's called the obverse. It's the same design that's been on the penny since 1909. On the back, you've got the 2 wheat stalks, which give it the name wheat penny. This design was used from 1909 all the way through 1958. Now here's something that might surprise you. In 1952, over 186 million Lincoln pennies were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, and coins from Philly traditionally don't carry a mint mark. So if you find a 1952 penny with no mint mark under the date, that's totally normal and means it came from Philadelphia. But here's the twist. Even though these coins are fairly common, certain versions of the 1952 no mint mark Lincoln penny can be worth serious money today. And when I say serious, I mean we're talking hundreds and even thousands of dollars. So what makes one of these coins so valuable? It all comes down to condition, rarity, and errors. Let's start with condition. Coin collectors use a grading scale to rate coins, ranging from poor, which is basically beat up and worn out, to mint state, which is a coin that looks like it just came off the press. If you have a 1952 Lincoln penny in uncirculated, mint condition, say graded MS65 or higher, it can be worth well over $50. And that's just for a basic one with no rare errors, but if you have a high-grade coin with a special feature, that's when we start talking big bucks. There's one 1952 no mint mark Lincoln penny that sold for over $1,600 at auction. Why? Because it was nearly flawless and MS67 red. That's one of the highest grades you can find for this coin. And the red means it still has its original coppery luster. Most old pennies turn brown over time due to oxidation, so finding one with that full red color is rare and highly desirable. Now let's talk about errors. This is where things get really exciting. Certain 1952 Lincoln pennies have doubling on the date or on the letters in Liberty and In God We Trust. These are called doubled die errors, and they're among the most sought after by collectors. If you find one of these in good condition, its value can jump fast. There are also off-center strikes, repunched mint marks. Even though Philadelphia coins don't have a mint mark, there are some mixed-up examples and transitional errors that slipped through. A dramatic enough error can make a common penny worth hundreds, if not thousands. So how do you know if your 1952 penny is valuable? Start by checking the condition. Is the detail on Lincoln's face still sharp? Can you see individual lines in the wheat stalks on the back? Is the coin shiny and red, or is it dark and worn? Next, look for any unusual features. Doubling, misaligned printing, or anything that just doesn't look quite right might be an error coin. And those are the ones collectors pay big money for. If you think you've got something special, you'll want to get it graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. That will give your coin an official grade and help determine its value on the market. Now, let's talk about the current market. As of now, in 2025, a regular circulated 1952 no mint mark penny is worth maybe 5 to 20 cents depending on where. But if it's in higher grades like MS64 or MS65 red, it can go for $30 to $80. The real money starts coming in at MS66 and higher. At that level, prices can jump to $150, $300, even $800. And like I said before, that MS67 red example? That one sold $4.600. Collectors are always on the hunt for quality examples. So don't underestimate what you've got. Check your old coin jars, check the family change collection, even check the junk drawers. That 1952 penny might just be worth way more than a penny. So what's the takeaway here? While the 1952 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark might seem common at first glance, the right coin, in the right condition or with the right error, could be a serious treasure. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, this is one coin you definitely want to keep an eye out for. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into rare and valuable coins. And if you've got a 1952 penny in your collection, drop a comment below. We'd love to hear about it. See you next time, and happy coin hunting! Imagine finding a single penny in your change jar that could make you nearly a millionaire. It sounds like a dream, but it happened. A 1941 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark was once valued at over $956,000. Yes, one copper coin, 1 cent, almost $1 million. Let me explain why this isn't just pocket change. This is history in your hands. Every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth a fortune. Today we're diving into one of the most mysterious and valuable coins ever. Discover the 1941 no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny. How much is yours worth? What makes it special? And how can you tell if you're sitting on a gold mine? The 1941 penny was minted in 3 places: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, but the no mint mark version means it was made in Philadelphia. Millions were produced there, so why is one worth over $950,000? Let's break it down. First, not all 1941 pennies are valuable. In fact, most are worth 1 to 10 cents, but the rare ones, the jaw dropping 6-figure ones, have something different. It could be a minting error, a doubled die, a unique strike, an off-center punch, or an incredibly rare high-grade example. Graded MS68 or above. MS means mint state, a grade that tells how perfect the coin is. The scale goes up to 70, and anything over 66 is considered museum quality. In 2019, one pristine 1941 no mint mark Lincoln penny graded MS68 plus red sold for over $956,000 at auction. Why? Because it was nearly flawless bright copper red, no scratches, no blemishes, an almost perfect survivor from over 80 years ago. So how do you know if your 1941 penny is worth anything? First, check the date. If it says 1941 and there's no small letter below the date, you've got a Philadelphia mint. Second, check the color. Red is best, red. Brown is next. Brown is common. Third, condition, no scratches, no wear, a shiny surface. The cleaner and sharper the coin, the more it's worth. Fourth, errors. Look for doubling on the numbers or letter strikes that are off center or any unusual marks. Lastly, consider grading. Professional grading from services like PCGS or NGC can unlock the real value. Yes, it costs a little money, but it could turn your penny into a payday. So next time you're digging through your change, look twice. That 1941 penny might be more than a coin, it might be a treasure. Almost $1 million from a single cent. It's not just luck, it's knowing what to look for. If you learned something today, smash that like button, subscribe for more rare coin secrets, and remember, your fortune might already be in your pocket.